The rusted sign still hung crooked above the bay doors. Mercer and Sons, Spacecraft Repair. 50 years of neglect had reduced it to little more than a skeleton of corrugated metal and broken dreams. Taryn Voss stood before it, her scaled hands clasped behind her back. Iridescent purple and copper patterns catching the pale morning light of Threshold Station's artificial sun. This? Eli Mercer's voice carried the weight of old grief. The human was smaller than most of his kind, weathered by decades in low-gravity repair bays, his hair more silver than black now. "You bought this?" "I bought you a workspace," Taryn said, her golden eyes fixed on the structure. "You said you needed space to build." "This had space," Eli laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Ma'am, with all respect, this isn't a workspace. This is a graveyard." Taryn's tail swished once, a gesture Eli had learned meant she was suppressing irritation. The Dracani didn't understand human sentiment, not really. To them, the past was simply prologue. They had ruled the stellar communion for 3,000 years, had ships that could fold space like paper, had forgotten more about the cosmos than humanity would ever learn, but they had also lost something. Something they were only now realizing they needed. "The contract is signed," Taryn said firmly. "You have 6 months to build me a ship that can reach the Veil. If you succeed, you receive citizenship in the Communion and 40 million credits. If you fail, I work off the debt for the rest of my natural life." "Yeah, I read the contract." Eli stepped past her, his boots crunching on broken glass. "You're insane. The Veil is a death trap. Nothing that goes in comes back out." "Nothing Dracani," Taryn corrected, "but human ships went through before the collapse." "Your grandfather's ship, the Prometheus," Eli froze. "How do you know that name?" "Because I am desperate." Taryn's voice softened, and for the first time Eli heard something beyond the imperious dragon woman's usual tone. Fear. "My clutch sister is dying. The cure exists beyond the Veil, in the sanctuary worlds that your people sealed away. No Dracani technology can penetrate the barrier. Our ships die screaming when they touch it. But your ship simply vanished." "Vanished. Exactly." Eli ran his hand along a workbench, 30 years of dust coating his palm. "No one knows if they made it through or if they just disintegrated differently. So build me a ship," Taryn said, "and we will find out together." The first week, Eli didn't build anything. He just walked the garage touching things, running his fingers over tools that had belonged to his father, his grandfather, uncles he'd never met. The collapse had taken them all. The day humanity's faster-than-light technology simply stopped working, stranding billions across the galaxy, cutting Earth off from her children forever. Taryn visited daily, growing more agitated. "You are wasting time." "I'm remembering," Eli said quietly, staring at a half-disassembled engine that sat exactly where his grandfather had left it 5 decades ago. Remembering accomplishes nothing. It accomplishes everything. Eli finally looked at her. "You want to know why human ships might survive the Veil? It's not because we're special. It's because we build things wrong." Taryn's crest flared. Confusion. "Your people build perfectly," Eli continued, warming to the topic. "Every Dracani ship is a masterpiece of engineering. Crystalline matrices, quantum-locked propulsion, zero-tolerance manufacturing, perfect, elegant, brittle." He kicked the old engine. It coughed, sputtered, and incredibly, after 50 years of silence, hummed. Taryn's eyes widened. "Human technology is redundant, inefficient, and held together with hope and profanity," Eli said, a wild grin spreading across his face. "We build things that shouldn't work, and then we make them work anyway. We over-engineer. We add backups to backups. We use duct tape and prayers and sheer stubborn refusal to accept that something is impossible." He slapped the engine housing. "This garage isn't a graveyard, Taryn. It's a message. My grandfather left this here exactly like this, knowing someone would come back. He left me the answer." "Answer to what?" "To how they survived the Veil." Eli's eyes gleamed with sudden understanding. The Prometheus didn't have Dracani technology. She was running on human FTL, our version, the messy one, the one that barely worked on a good day. When the collapse happened, it didn't kill our drives. It changed them. And my grandfather figured out how to adapt. He moved to a locked cabinet in the corner, brushing away decades of grime. Inside, wrapped in protective cloth, sat a data core. He left the blueprints. 5 months later, something impossible sat in the center of the garage. It wasn't beautiful. It looked like a human had taken Dracani technology, and beaten it into submission with a hammer, then welded it to human components that had no business working together, mismatched hull plates, exposed conduits, an engine that hummed 3 different frequencies simultaneously. It was perfect. I don't understand, Terran admitted, walking around the ship. How does it fly? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. Eli patted the hull affectionately. But she will. Human ships don't fly because they're logical. They fly because we believe in them hard enough. Terran was quiet for a long moment. My people have forgotten how to dream, she said finally. We perfected everything, and in doing so, we lost the ability to imagine what lies beyond perfection. We cannot conceive of a ship like this because we cannot conceive of trying something that might fail. That's the difference, Eli said. Humans fail constantly. We've built our entire civilization on learning from catastrophic failures. We don't see perfection as the goal. We see progress as the goal. We don't ask, will this work? We ask, what happens if we try? Terran extended her hand, a human gesture she'd learned from him. Then let us try together, Eli took it. To the veil? To the veil, Terran agreed. And whatever lies beyond. The ship's engines roared to life, that beautiful, terrible, impossible human sound. The sound of something that shouldn't work but does anyway, through sheer determination and refusal to accept defeat. In the abandoned garage where dreams had died 50 years ago, new dreams took flight. Humanity had fallen. Humanity had been reduced to second-class citizens in someone else's empire, but humanity had never stopped building, had never stopped hoping, had never stopped reaching for the stars with bloody, stubborn, imperfect hands. And sometimes that was enough. Sometimes that was everything,